So we're on the harvest truck. They've been looking a little bit worried. Just going round to harvest another mud pond. The last 150 nishai from this breeder. We've just gone through the first 300. Stunning surroundings, as you can see. This is Miyako's mud pond. This pond, I guess, is 80 metres by 70 metres. About 1.5 metres deep. Nets are ready. It's 150 nishai in this pond. We've already harvested 500 today, which we've just gone through. Famous breeder, Shirazuri, Gimme Shirazuri, Goshikishowa, along with various other varieties.
Yeah. Let's go to the mud pond.
So this is the Miyako nishai pond we're harvesting now. So Angie's just feeding the net out to them. And you've got Miyako-san and then his son-in-law at the far corner. So they're going to gently walk the net around the perimeter of the pond and gather the fish all back in this area here. And once the net is drawn into a small area, the fish will get caught, put in the paddling pool, and then we'll put a little bit of fresh water in the bags and then take them up to the harvest truck. This is the second harvest we've done today, Miyako. So we picked some beautiful koi nishai from the first harvest. So this is exactly the reason why we come out here this time of year, to obviously just come to these kind of harvests so we get first pick as soon as they're out the mud ponds. So we can obviously make note of the fish that we want to buy now, and with the first, and then when we get back to the breeders we'll just separate them straight away. So Miyako-san and the son-in-law just walking around the pond now. So the pond's been drained down to, I'll probably say about just over 2 foot. So these are nishai. So what you hope now is that obviously the fish don't jump over the net. You can see they make plenty of splashing and plenty of noise on that far bank to scare the fish in. And there's a weight at the bottom of this net, so it drags along the actual bottom of the pond. You see they're the weights on the underside of the net, just so the fish don't swim underneath it. And so this pond's been drained down by approximately, I'd say, 1 metre. So a few days before they take the standpipes out and they just drop the water level down just to a more manageable level. And then once the harvest is finished, they'll take the final bits of standpipe out, drain the thing completely down, and they can do any maintenance or anything they need to run a mud pond before it gets covered in snow in about a month's time. You'll notice at the bottom of these mud ponds, so this one obviously is a very stony style mud pond. So these stone kind of substrate is a lot better for fish, obviously with sumi, so things like showas, shiratsuris, sankis, goshkis, where the more kind of kahaku type of mud pond, or an idealistic one, obviously would be more mud and obviously more like the softer kind of water. But it's interesting, obviously a lot of people back home, you try and keep obviously everything out your pond and try and keep it as clean as you possibly can. No sharp edges or whatnot. When you look in the mud ponds here, so this is what they are basically released into. It has small fry. They spend a year here before being taken in over winter and released back around May kind of time, and then harvested mid-October.
I was in a hotel making cracker pieces.
Nice idea, nice idea.
So this is a Marusada koi farm, so specialist for tancho showa. This is the famous pond next to it. Every year we come past, you see it's actually undercut. So one year it's going to go. But this is probably 50, 60 years old, these ponds. So there's a Nisai tancho showa in here. And some more Nisai tancho showa in there. So we're just going to do a quick walkthrough of Nagashima koi farm. So this is the furthest ponds out the back. This is some Yonsai and Gosai. There's Nisai here. So you go through. The pond on the right is some of the Nisai that we selected. These are our fish in this pond. And as we go through here, we have various ponds of Sansai. Have some Nisai in that pond. As you go through, so you've got some Sansai and Yonsai in there. And this is like Yonsai and over, which houses the Nagashima-san's parent fish as well, is Oyagoi. So this is the Dainichi Toyota Oyagoi, it's 95 centimetres. So that's the mama parent of the fish that we just bought. There's some wonderful jumbo gosanki in this pond. This is the breeder's Tatigoi Tosai. So it's going to be growing these on over winter and going out in the mud ponds now next May. Absolutely stunning Ginmin Tancho shower in there. A really high class Tosai. So here we are this is Isa Maruo koi farm. So in 1992, some 30 odd years ago, these ponds were used as more stock ponds by Andrew and John at the time. So you used to go around the mountains, basically purchase the actual whichever fish you wanted and actually bring the fish back in bags and then put them in here. So depending on how big your shipment was, obviously all the fish from different breeders would go in the same pond, and then the fish would then actually be bagged up from here. I mean, obviously that was some 30 years ago. Now, so with the biosecurity thing and the not mixing the fish together, obviously that isn't done. So these ponds are now basically used for when the harvests come in. But it shows you obviously how times have changed. But when you drive around the mountains, there's lots of ponds like this. I mean, these ponds must be 40-50 year old at least. They're still holding water. And obviously they're these been through a few earthquakes as well, these ponds. So you'll see this is quite a common construction method. It's just like poured concrete. These ones have actually been painted. See some probably 30, 40 years ago, but others aren't even sealed really. They're just poured concrete and they have like a flow in from the nearby water source, like the actual river or whatnot. But when you see these ponds in the winter time, well, you can't make the ponds out. They're just 2-3 meters of snow underneath, on top. But it's just interesting when you have a look at them. So you've got the standpipes, quite a common thing. These are concrete troughs that used to hold the biological media. Right, yep, how times have changed. So that's the Isa Maruo fish house. So that's for the Tosai and Nisai. This is Sansai and Yonsai. So that's the riverbed, and then you can see the house in the distance. So that's the one with a nice roof on it. That's his main house. And then just in the distance there on the right hand side, that's his fish house, Nisai. And just in front of that is some large concrete ponds that haven't been used for many years. But again, they're just more stock ponds, but I don't think I've seen fish in them for the last 10 years. It's another beautiful day here today. I'm really lucky with the weather. We're 6 days in. Had a bit of a rain yesterday, but apart from that, 23, 24 degrees, shorts and t-shirt weather. And so this is 15th of October today. So if you see the size of that river now, so obviously as early like next year, when the snow starts melting, this whole thing just becomes like one large river. So that's amazing. The actual increase in the amount of water volume as the snow melts off the mountains. This is Kawakami Koi farm just down that road there. Used to be an old goshiki breeder up there on the right, that's not there anymore. So that's Isa Maruo's house. A really nice, traditional kind of Japanese kind of house with like the roof tiles or whatnot. You don't really see them so much anymore. Again, yeah, that's the full width of the river. Over there is a Sansai house, a Nisai house. And the one just as you can make out in the far distance, that's his Yonsai and Nisai house down the bottom. This is Aoki Koi farm. So Aoki-san breeds many different varieties of generally metallic kind of fish and kawari mono. So you would have seen a lot of his Benikiko Koryus, Harawakis, Kikasuis, Goshkis. I mean the luster on his fish is something else. So they're not really renowned for getting to jumbo sizes, but probably some of the prettiest fish you're likely to see. So they always win a lot of prizes in the All Japan show. But when you see things like this Tosai here, so like the ponds just literally glow, obviously with like the yellows and the goshkis, and they're really beautiful. And then in a second I'll take you through to the Nisai house, which is just located next door, and then you'll see the larger examples of just the real unusual varieties. But you never get sick of seeing healthy Tosai like this. Again, another very well organised farm, this one. So he's got his own little coffee machine there. So this is Aoki-san's adjacent fish house. So this houses again some more Tosai. The ponds there and there. And the harvesting's just being carried out at the present, so there's not huge numbers of fish here currently. But these Nisai and Sansai in here. When you look at things like the goshkis really stand out. It's like the real jet black type of goshki. Benikiko Kuryu. These Benikiko Kuryu are well renowned for being a very dark black type. So very different to most others you'll see. Kasui down there, excellent luster. They're very popular at the minute, like the Aragoke style. This is Nisai category here. That fourth or second fish to the left, that was a Benikiko Koi that won the All Japan Young Koi show probably about 4 years or so ago now. It was a grand champion. That was a very famous fish, I think probably 15 centimetres that was. So beautiful fish of all varieties in there. As you can see that Kamonru. So this is Igarashi Kazuto, so the Nagaoka Koi house, so not the one in the mountains. So these ponds haven't been harvested yet, so these ponds are empty. But what is quite interesting, it's quite a typical thing you see in Japanese koi farms. So at home we have a lot of the stainless steel baki showers and the nice fiberglass ones, but a lot of the ones here are made out of just the plastic crates. So you've got plastic crates just stacked on top of each other. Just a bit of the plastic flute boards just to stop the splash in there. And then this pumice stone type of media. So water goes through the spray bar, out here, trickles down, and then it's just got the flute board on the bottom there just to create the weir. So it doesn't have to look pretty as long as it works. And it's got a nice black bag on the top of that one just to prevent the splashing. It will certainly keep it simple, because a lot of the times in the UK I think we overcomplicate things on the filtration. It's not the nicest looking, that's all. So these are the outdoor ponds at Wada Koi Farm. So Wada specialises in Asagi, Kajaku and his variety Kirin. So you'll see these outdoor ponds here. I'd estimate probably 50 years old. In the region of 50, 60 years old, these ponds. And they're starting to show their age. So these will be Sansai Kajaku in this pond. You've got your Asagi in here, so these are Nisai Asagi. So what you'll note with a lot of the Asagi at Nisai, the reticulation is still very light. So especially when we've been picking them out as Tosai, you almost pick a very like white kind of one, and the reticulation darkens, and the red comes from the belly up over the lateral line. And there is some slightly darker ones in there. And there's some Kirin. So this is Wada Koi Farm's Tosai house. So this farm's approximately 80 years old, and up to 10 years ago all they did was Asagi, so that's what they were famed in. But so now they've deviated and gone for things like Kajaku, Kirin, and also some Sanki, a small number. Right, so this is a very typical pond of Tosai Asagi. You see how light the reticulation is, but that's generally how you'd want an Asagi at this kind of age. If you get a real kind of dark Asagi at this kind of age and you found it's finished a bit too early, and it's also when you get the red too far up the sides now, the red will continue to grow. So it's really interesting what an Asagi looks like now and how it develops over like 2 years or so. These are Kirin and Kawarigoi. Got some more Asagi Akamatsuba. So this is a real spectacular pond. This is just Kirin in here. So the Kirin was a Beni Kajaku bred with a Nezu Ogon. And that produces this kind of light, almost like Kagani or Chiba style. So this is Wada's Nisai and Sansai house. So here's some beautiful examples of larger Kirin. The Asagis aren't as spectacular as they usually are. I think he's changed the parent set, because the bodies are a lot slimmer than they usually are. And these are Nisai Asagi. And the reticulation will still darken. Got some Kirin in there. This is usually his Nishikigoi pond here. So these are fish that he's going to keep to grow onto Sansai.
So this is a piece of nishikigoi history. So when koi were originally sold, virtually 99% were sold purely within Japan. Very few were exported. They were mainly sold within this area. So they were sold via this site. This was the auction centre, Miyako Auction Centre. So this here is a huge pond. This channel you can see here is where the crates would go through, the Japanese floating baskets, and the fish would be auctioned off between the breeders and the dealers. Obviously this closed many years ago when KHV came around in the koi business. Obviously auctions basically ceased to exist, and to date, this day, you still don't have open auctions. Most auctions are done in-house. So Sakai has an auction, Dainichi has an auction, but not mixed fish. So I'm just gonna sneak into here. So what you had, this was the auction site. This is the second tier. This is how big it was. So this was open. You could see down as the crates float through the centre, and this would be busy with people, maybe up to 100 people bidding on a standard type auction where its price starts low and works up until it goes. It's not a Dutch auction, which is what they have for goldfish, where they start high, and as soon as you reach a price you're prepared to pay, you chuck your number into the crate. So this is Miyako Auction Centre, something that closed, my guess is closed 25 years ago, maybe 20 years ago.
So this is the inside of a very old auction house. So you see over here, you have like the fish that are in these blue jack baskets, and they're basically floating around there. And when the auction's going on, basically like the baskets get pulled through here. They're all joined together on a string and they get pulled through here. And the auctioneer sits at the top there, and then all of the people in the actual auction sit around the side. And obviously that shout their bids ready. And then that just goes through, goes underneath, and then they end up back out there. So again, since the whole kind of KHV thing, the auctions like this style has been like a thing of the past really, and obviously it's good riddance really for the actual health aspect and everything, but just a really interesting thing that went on over the years really. But you can imagine, because the fish are in the plastic tubs, obviously you've got like the actual, like the mixing of the water, obviously all the different breeders all mixing together, so that's why obviously nowadays not such a great idea. See, these are all the jack baskets. See a large stock of them there. So this is like where the fish get pulled through. So these baskets are all tied together on a string under different numbered lots, and then they get pulled through and they auction like that.